From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 19th, 2024. An airstrike was carried out on an Iranian airbase last night. Several reports claiming Israel was behind the incident in response to Iran's unprecedented attack on Israel this past Saturday night. However, there has been no confirmation on that. The airstrike was said to be limited in nature and restrained. The U.S. House of Representatives voted overwhelmingly yesterday to condemn the Iranian attack on Israel Saturday night, with 404 voting for the condemnation, 14 voting against it. The resolution also states that the House stands with Israel as it defends itself against Iran's attacks and reaffirms the U.S. commitment to Israel's security, supports Israel's right to self-defense and right to respond to this aggression, commends the U.S. military, the United Kingdom, France, and Jordan for intercepting Iranian missiles and drones, and urges full enforcement of U.S. sanctions and export controls against Iran. 13 Democrats and 1 Republican voted against the resolution, including Democrats Jamal Bowman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib, and Republican Thomas Massie. As expected, the United States used its veto at the United Nations Security Council yesterday to block a resolution to grant the Palestinians full member status at the UN. 12 countries voted in favor: Slovenia, Sierra Leone, Russia, South Korea, Mozambique, Malta, Japan, Guyana, France, Ecuador, China, and Algeria. The United Kingdom and Switzerland abstained. 4 IDF soldiers were injured in clashes with Palestinian terrorists during a counterterror operation last night in the West Bank. The IDF said its forces, along with Israel's security agency, the Shin Bet, and border police, launched a counterterrorism operation in the Nur al-Shams area, eliminated a number of terrorists, arrested a number of wanted persons, uncovered explosives and ammunition, and searched buildings. The Times of Israel reported that a senior Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorist was said to be among those eliminated. And Israeli troops continue to defend the northern border with Lebanon as rockets continue to be fired by Iranian-backed terror group Hezbollah. The IDF said Israeli aircraft hit military infrastructure of the terrorist organization Hezbollah, and noted that earlier today 3 missiles were detected that crossed towards the Yiftach area in the north of the country. There was no damage and there were no casualties. The IDF said it attacked with artillery fire at the sources of the fire. We pause today to pay tribute and to remember the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, which began on this day, April the 19th, 81 years ago in 1943. The largest and longest lasting act of resistance during the Holocaust. The Polin Museum of the History of Polish Jews launched its 12th edition of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising social educational campaign, asking the public to wear a paper daffodil pin to show that we are all remembering together. Poland's embassy in Denmark shared the origin of the daffodils as a symbol, saying that Marek Edelman, the last surviving leader of the uprising, would anonymously receive a bouquet of daffodils on the date of the anniversary and would lay them at the monument to those who fought and died in the uprising. Well, the Jewish holiday of Passover, which celebrates the Jewish people's liberation from bondage, begins Monday evening. And of course, the hostages who remain captive in Gaza for now 196 days remain front and center in our hearts and minds. Israel's President Isaac Herzog asked that 1 chair be left empty at the Seder table this year for the hostages and in memory of those who were murdered and kidnapped in Hamas's October 7th massacre. Herzog said when children recite the Manishtana, asking what makes this night different from all other nights, we will know and feel full well what has changed since last year's Seder night. And thousands of people lined Israel's coastline today, standing shoulder to shoulder in a human chain, united in a call to release the hostages initiated by Shelley Shem Tov, mother of the hostage Omer Shem Tov. Other initiatives of hope for and solidarity with the hostages and their families include an empty Seder table installation this week in the UK with the call to let our people go now.
It should be understandable, undeniable. You can't argue at all. Unbelievable what is happening in the world. Bring them back now, we don't care. Please understand, our heart is there, and we need them to come back home.
Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, April the 19th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, Justin Pine sits with renowned Rabbi Avi Weiss for a full-ranging conversation on his childhood, his activism, Israel, and more. At 9:30, Abigail Pogrebin speaks to Rabbi David-Seth Kirshner about his book that chronicles the first 50 days of the Israel-Hamas War. At 10, David Harris sits in the JBS studio with the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan Nahum, to discuss the situation in the Middle East. At 10:30, a replay of the Hampton Synagogue services, followed by a replay from Central. And coming up next, a look at this week's Torah Portion. And a programming note for you, as we do every year, we will broadcast services and seders here on JBS beginning Monday evening at 5:30 Eastern. You can check the complete schedule available on our website, jbstv.org. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 19th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. I will be back with the news on Thursday, wishing all those who celebrate a very happy, healthy, and peaceful Passover, Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom, Am Yisrael Chai.